I'm going to actually just feel how you're doing it first. So
Okay.
notice that this goes here. Round to receive.
Right.
Good. And then when you receive, rotate the trunk. Don't just shift. All right. That helps you receive. It also helps you cock for what's coming. Right? So way too big. You had
Yeah.
a
I
lié
I
kind of an
tend to
energy,
do
right?
that kind of.
I
That's
just
what I've
want
been
to
doing with him.
think of this like an anchor, and the other one is the tide moving the boat that's moored, as opposed to split. Right. So I don't want to have that where we have two things going in divergent directions. See, round to receive.
As opposed to
Well,
trying to stop it. That's why.
I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, set up the fight. Right. I'm not going to ask you to defend yourself. So just hang out. Okay,
Okay.
cool. So this is a philosophical question. Was that yang or yin? What I did?
Pretty young.
Pretty
Small, right?
easy.
Yeah.
Pretty easy. Now you come in and punch me. I was obviously defensive, so it must have been yin. Did it feel yin?
Felt pretty hard. Yeah.
Right. Kind of felt similar to the other, right? So you push me. Does that feel yin?
Well, it's too hard.
I'm
Right.
defending,
Right.
sure, but
You're using energy
I'm in
kind of
this
thing.
yang. Get push. Now push.
That's you.
That's yin, right? So we want to have in our experience a nice swing from empty to full, yin to yang. Like I said, empty to fill, like on a gas tank, like a gauge you look at all the time, right? I don't want to just go, I guess that was mostly yang compared to that slightly more yin. And like, that's technically right. Like, you can do that. But I want my general practice to be trying to explore the realm of this exchange, the bounds, the edges of these. I say edges doesn't mean I have to go to the very most yin I could ever find, but I don't want to just be like, I'm going to call it yin because I'm defending. And then I'm basically in the same
But you're tight.
sort of mode, start to finish. I want to be changing mode, changing mode, changing modes, right? Like you might imagine these, I was going to say like intelligent ones, but even just if you set it on your thermostat, your AC is on when you come home and it's off when you leave for work. It's got yours. It has these two different modes, like that. So your house changes during the day, as opposed to 1945. It's either on or off. I have to remember to turn it off when I leave. Like it just is what it is. I want to experience these changes. I don't simply want to give them a thing and get them off me, give them a thing, get them off me. I want to feel, receive, and give, receive, and give over and over and over. Right? So, back to where we started. See the hook, right?
Yeah. So
So
it's
that tells me the mindset is not receive, it's get them off. Although that was slight, right?
but it means the hand's not relaxed, the arm's not relaxed, the brain is not there.
And so you can do it when you want. So it's still two, and that was fast and energized. I'm going to do it to you this time. Dave, do you know my number lesson with two columns and a zillion numbers on one side?
Yep.
Notice I wasn't doing that, just kind of
Mm-hmm.
anchoring it there. So if if you're in Antarctica, dressed the way you're dressed, you're not in the right place, right? Anywhere, you're picturing Hawaii, but you'll take Minnesota, like, right? You're not. Now, if you're in Antarctica and you say, well, wait a minute, let me go over here where it's a little bit less windy.
Philadelphia.
And when I'm over there, let me head over to this slightly sunnier, latitude or exposure. You could say, well, see, I've done better. It's more yang. So, right? It's a little warmer, a little sunnier. And you're right, you are a little more young in Antarctica. So any of your answers that are in Antarctica still have the basic problem of you're not going to survive here. You need to be off the continent, a whole different category of place. Yeah. So while it's true that some minor change is shifting you to yin or to yang, or like that is fair because on Antarctica, things are yin and yang like anywhere else. But thinking how you're dressed anywhere in Antarctica is not going to be the right answer, right? So you need to make a wholesale change, not simply, I didn't really do it much. So even though we want to commend that change, like you're less than you were, you still have the fundamental problem of you're in Antarctica. The solution is not do less wrong. It's to do a wholesale different um, attitude, worldview, prescription, philosophically, whatever we want to call that. It's a wholesale change, right? From doing this to doing this, right? So I have extension here and then flexion here, here, and here. And there's the change. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. I'm worried. Yeah. So that's something, because it's very easy to say that I am standing in the scientifically proven warmest place in Antarctica. Great. We still have the one major problem. And you're right. You have found the warmest spot that's only negative 37. Interesting. Trivia.
Found the best tasting light
Right.
beer.
I'll read all about that trivia from Oahu when I get there. So it's true, but you must continually police yourself when you're practicing. Otherwise, you're not really practicing it. You're actually practicing defend, 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 yang, 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 or some version of it. Whereas if you are practicing it, even if it isn't quite working for you yet, you're still practicing it. You get to know it. You get to trust it over time, right? But unless we're policing it, we'll mistake better or more or less, right? Like a shift for being a wholesale shift to a different type. That's why I use the continent, whole different type of place, landscape, not just a different version of the same place. And that's where we need to police that when you're practicing.